स्वागत है बहुत बहुत लाइव चैनल पर। बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। कोई जो लोग भी लाइव पर हैं लाइव को लाइक करें। बहुत बहुत स्वागत है सभी लोगों का। जो लोग भी लाइव पर हैं प्लीज़ लाइव को लाइक करें, उनको सब्सक्राइब करें। हर हर महादेव। सभी लोगों का स्वागत है लाइव पर। बहुत बहुत स्वागत है सभी लोगों का। प्लीज़ जो लोग भी लाइव पर हैं लाइव को लाइक करें। जो लोग भी लाइव पर हैं प्लीज़ लाइव को लाइक करें। बहुत बहुत स्वागत है सभी लोगों का लाइव चैनल पर। बहुत बहुत स्वागत है सभी लोगों का जो लोग भी लाइव पर हैं। प्लीज़ लाइव को लाइक करें, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें। हरे महादेव। बहुत बहुत स्वागत है निखिल, बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका लाइव चैनल पर। मैं थोड़ा नहाने के लिए गया था, ये मैं थोड़ा झपकी आ गई थी तो फिर उसके बाद नहा के आ रहा हूँ अभी। बहुत बहुत स्वागत है सभी लोगों का, थैंक यू वेरी मच। थैंक यू वेरी मच लाइव को लाइक करने के लिए। हरे महादेव। बहुत बहुत स्वागत है सभी लोगों का लाइव चैनल पर। थैंक यू वेरी मच मुझे सपोर्ट देने के लिए। हरे महादेव। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका। थैंक यू वेरी मच, दिल से धन्यवाद जो मुझे सपोर्ट दे रहे हैं। हरे महादेव। बहुत बहुत स्वागत है सभी लोगों का लाइव चैनल पर। लोग भी लाइव पर हैं जुड़े, थैंक यू वेरी मच सपोर्ट करने के लिए सभी लोगों का दिल से धन्यवाद। हरे महादेव। थैंक यू वेरी मच मित्र जी, सपोर्ट देने के लिए बहुत बहुत स्वागत, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका लाइव चैनल पर। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सभी लोगों का। थैंक यू वेरी मच लाइव को लाइक करने के लिए। हर हर महादेव। तनुजा जी बहुत बहुत स्वागत, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप पर जुड़े रहने के लिए। हर हर महादेव। थैंक यू वेरी मच तनुजा जी, नीतू जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका सपोर्ट देने के लिए। हर हर महादेव, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका। थैंक यू वेरी मच लाइव को लाइक करने के लिए, जुड़े रहने के लिए। हर हर महादेव। थैंक यू वेरी मच लाइव को लाइक करने के लिए, सपोर्ट देने के लिए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सभी लोगों का। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सभी लोगों का। थैंक यू वेरी मच नीतू जी, तनुजा जी, लाइक पर आने के लिए, लाइव को लाइक करने के लिए। हर हर महादेव। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सभी लोगों का। थैंक यू वेरी मच लाइव को लाइक करने के लिए। हर हर महादेव। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सभी लोगों का लाइव पर जुड़े रहने के लिए। हर हर महादेव। Exercise 152. Write autobiographies of the following. A bee. Read up something about the habits of hive bees. Then bring in the various duties of the worker bee: feeding and tending larvae, young, strong honey, sweeping hive, guarding, fetching nectar from flowers to make honey, etc. An ant on the same lines. We can write in a notebook about for a ant. A sheepdog training by the shepherd to look after flock. As young dog imitates his mother in her work, learns to understand the shepherd's sign and verbal orders, knows each sheep and can pick out and bring whichever the shepherd wants, can separate certain numbers from others, grabs a sheep to pastures and into fold at night, guards flock against enemies. An elephant, wildlife in jungle, when young, how caught in Keda by decoy, training it to work, carrying loads, pulling logs, drawing carts, carrying hunters in tiger shooting, marching in stage, processions, etc. A rose tree, early cultivation, the first pruning regenerated learns later it is necessary for producing fine flowers, gets a rich manure, learns that cultivation makes it different from wild rose, suffers from disease like green fly, blight, etc. How gardener curious it produce splendid red roses, much admire. Next year some blooms gain prize at flower show, cutting taken its children, etc. थैंक यू वेरी मच नीतू जी, सपोर्ट देने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका। मैं नहाने गया था तो उसके बाद फिर अभी आया, मैं मोबाइल चार्ज में लगा दिया था, कम था उसमें, रपोर्ट देते देते मैं वो हो गया था, फिर दोबारा उठा मैं। थैंक यू वेरी मच सभी लोगों का। हर हर महादेव। A watch describes silver watch in jewelers shop, other watches its companies. Proud gold watch, humble gun metal watch, repeating watches, wrist watches, etc. Bought as present for a young man, stolen out of his pocket, sold by thief, put in pawn shop, bought by man, falls sick and goes to hospital. Jewelers, Newman, spring. A river rises as spring in mountains or from a glacier, mountain torrent, rocky bed, waterfalls, tributaries swollen, when snow melts, reaches plains, slow, steady river, cultivated fields on banks, irrigation canals taken off passes, villages and small towns, flows through a big town, pollution of water, boats and ships fall into sea at big port, etc. etc. A kite or hawk, young in a nest in a tall tree, fed by mother and father kite, how it learns to fly, hunting its prey, mice, chickens, small birds, teased by crows, and minus chooses mate, bills next, etc. etc. A fish, salmon fish, its youth as a smelt in river, journey to the sea, returns of river, leaping bears, chooses a mate, grows big, fish for how it is deceived by bait nearly hooked, escapes and vows to take no more baits, its enemies, proud of being king of river fishes, etc. etc. थैंक यू वेरी मच नीतू जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका सपोर्ट देने के लिए। हर हर महादेव, बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका। थैंक यू वेरी मच लाइव पर जुड़े रहने के लिए, बने रहने के लिए। हर हर महादेव। ये मैं चाय पी रहा हूँ, आपके लिए भी चाय है नीतू जी, आप भी चाय पीजिए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सभी लोगों का। Dialogue writing. A dialogue literally means a talk between two people. So dialogue writing is a useful form of composition, especially for the Indian student who is trying to gain a command of spoken English. Under proper guidance, it should introduce him to the colloquial way of talking English and train him to express his thoughts in easy and natural constructions. The spoken English of the Indian schoolboy is too often rather stilted and bookish, owing to the fact that he has not much chance of talking with English people, and anything that will help him to acquire his naturalness and easy in speaking in English is all of value. To write a dialogue successfully calls for a little dramatic power, for the writer has not only to see both sides of a question but has also to put himself, so to speak, inside two imaginary persons so as to make them express their opposite opinions naturally and in keeping with their characters. He has in turn to be each one and see the point of view of each on the question. A written dialogue should be so composed that it appears to be spontaneous or impromptu. The reader of it should not feel that it is premeditated, stilted, and dull. At the same time, careful preparation is necessary for writing a dialogue. Though this must not appear, the writer must have the art of conceal his art. It is also advisable to make a plan or outline of the dialogue before beginning to write, otherwise the dialogue may be rambling and pointless. थैंक यू वेरी मच सभी लोगों का। थैंक यू वेरी मच नीतू जी, तनुजा जी, जो लोग भी लाइव पर हैं, जो लोग भी लाइव पर जुड़े हैं, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सभी लोगों का। मेथड ऑफ प्रोसीड्यूर: carefully think over the subject given and jot down briefly the arguments or opinions about it which might reasonable by expressed by the imaginary persons who are supposed to be talking. Arrange these ideas in some logical order so that one will arise naturally from another in the course of the conversation. It is well to write down these points in the form of an outline or numbered heads as a guide to follow in writing the dialogue. Try to imagine what would be the way in which each character in the dialogue would express his views. To do this, you must have in your mind a clear idea of the imaginary persons taking part in the conversation so as to make them speak in character. For an instance, in specimen number 2, Swap the bookies students talks in a different way from Dulip Singh, the athlete student. थैंक यू वेरी मच नीतू जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका सपोर्ट देने के लिए, दिल से धन्यवाद। हर हर महादेव। कीप इन माइंड दैट योर डायलॉग व्हेन completed should read like a real spontaneous conversation, so try to make your imaginary characters talk in an easy, familiar and natural manner. Avoid stilted and bookies faces. Try to remember how real people talk in friendly conversation and reproduce that conversational style as well as you can. Special hints number one, don't let any of your characters monopolize the conversation. As if you were giving a public lecture, give all a chance and keep the ball rolling. Let the conversation be brisk, the rapid. Be in real conversation, one person sometimes interrupts the other or breaks in on what he is saying. Sparing use of such interruptions in written dialogues in quite permissible and adds to its naturalness. For example, I am perfectly certain he would never do such thing. Why? Only the other day he told me. B. I don't care what he told you. Now for a fact that he did it. C. In real conversation, a speaker often answer a question by asking another or sometimes saying what is coming. He answers a question before it is asked. You may enliven your dialogue by making your characters do the same now and then. For example, A. What will you do if he does not answer you later? B. Well, what would you do? D. I heard something about you the other day, John. I know you are going to ask me why I was absent from office last Monday. Well, I will tell you, etc. D. In real conversational conversation, people often use exclamations, surprise, my world, good heavens, you don't say so, well, etc. Irritation, bother, oh dear, confound it, pleasure, how nice, splendid, and so on. Such interjections may be introduced from time to time sparingly, but the use of them should not be overdone. Note, slang and profane words should be avoided. Number second, the dialogue should begin in an interesting way so that the reader's attention may be arrested from the very first, and the conversation should lead up to some definite conclusion. It should not end abruptly and in the air, so to speak. Special attention should be paid to the opinion, sentences, and the conclusion. Number third, the fact that language should be as far as possible colloquial does not, of course, mean that it may be ungrammatical, however free and easy the style in which the persons in the dialogue are made to talk. They must talk good English. They must not, for example, be made to use such expressions as he asked my brother and oblique to tea or can I give you an advice? Number four, keeping these points in view, write your dialogues in as natural, interesting, and realistic a manner as possible. The whole conversation should be brief and the questions and replies as concise and pointed as possible. स्वागत है शशि दीदी आपका लाइव चैनल पर। थैंक यू वेरी मच लाइव को लाइक करने के लिए। हर हर महादेव। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका शशि दीदी लाइव को लाइक करने के लिए। हर हर महादेव। मैं अभी चाय पी रहा हूँ शशि दीदी, आपके लिए भी चाय है, आप भी पीजिए। बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका शशि दीदी लाइव चैनल पर। थैंक यू वेरी मच। ठीक हूँ दीदी, मैं बढ़िया एकदम मस्त। आप बताइए आप कैसे हैं शशि दीदी। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका लाइव को लाइक करने के लिए। हर हर महादेव। ठीक हूँ दीदी मैं, आप कैसे हो आप बताइए। स्पेसिमेंस मतलब ये हो गया कि एक मनुष्य आदमी उसके बारे में एक, नहीं रेज दी मीन्स मनुष्य हुआ। स्पेसिमेन भी वही है आई गेस। रेज मनोज स्पेसिमैन नंबर वन। ओके दीदी, ठीक है दीदी, अच्छा रहना चाहिए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका लाइव को लाइक करने के लिए। हर हर महादेव। बाय दीदी, बाय बाय बाय। हर हर महादेव। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका लाइव को लाइक करने के लिए। A conversation between two boys, one of whom is habitually despondent and thinks that luck is against him, whereas the other is of a more practical turn of mind. Nasrullah Chan, come. Hussein, you are talking your failure too much to hurt. I know it is a great disappointment and I sympathize with you, but you must not allow it to make you so unhappy. Mohammad Hussain, it is all very well for a lucky chap like you. Nasrullah, you have passed the first time, and this is my second failure. You would not feel so cherry if you were in my place. I know, but you must pull yourself together and make up your mind. You will pass next time. Remember the old saying, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Mohammad Hussain, think the other version of this saying, he more sense in it. If at first you don't succeed, quit at once. Oh, nonsense. You will never do anything if you don't preserve now. Why do you think you failed, Mohammed? All this year faith has been against me. First I was ill with enteric, which lost me a whole turn. Then just before my examination, my father died, and that so upset me that I could not prepare properly. Nazruddin, well, you certainly did have bad luck. I am sorry, but I am sure you will succeed next time, so you must make up your mind to win through. Muhammad Hussain, it's no use. I think I was born unlucky. I seem to fail in everything I touch. I tried several times to get a scholarship, but some other boys always got it. Instead, I shall give it up. Mr. Nazruddin, indeed, you must not remember. It is the darkest hours before the dawn. Often, when things are at the worst, that they begin to improve. I don't believe in all the talk about bad and good luck. A brave man makes his own luck. You have a year before you. You have a brains, and if you will only pull yourself together and put your heart into your work, you will win through. Mohammed Hussain says, I wish I had your disposition still. I will take your advice and have another try. Nazruddin, that's the style. And I am sure you will succeed and break your so called bad luck once for all. Number second, an imaginary conversation between bookies students and an athlete student on the comparative merits of a mental and physical culture. Dulip Singh, hello, sorting away as usual. Come out, man. Shut up your old books and come and have a game of tennis. Swarp, I am sorry. I can't do that, Dilip. The examination is drawing near and I want every hour I can get for study. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सभी लोगों का। थैंक यू वेरी मच लाइव को लाइक करने के लिए। जो लोग भी लाइक कर चुके हैं, हर हर महादेव। ओके, थैंक यू। Dulip Singh, oh, hang all examinations. I don't worry about mine. What is the use of them anyway? Swap, well, you can't get a degree if you don't pass the examination, and I have set my heart on being a BA. Dulip Singh, and pray what good will be do you? You have get a clerkship in a government office, but that's all, and there are hundreds of fellows who have got their degrees and are no nearer getting jobs of any sort. Mr. Swarf, that may be so, but I am not studying so much to pass my examinations and obtain my degree as to store my mind with knowledge and develop my intellectual faculties. Mr. Dulip Siddiq saying, for Mr. Swarf, my word, how fine you, highbrows, can talk, develop my intellectual faculties. I tell you, all a man wants to get on in the world in some brains, planes, common sense, and plenty of push, and you can't learn these things from books. And while you are developing your intellectual faculties, you are spoiling your health. You will soon be a thin, white, narrow chested, half blind Viking if you stick to your beloved books like this. Do at my broad chest and feel my biceps. Anyway, I am developing my physical powers with my games and athletes. Mr. Swart, well, if I have to choose, I would rather have a learned and cultivated mind than a strong and well developed body, for the mind is far more important than the body. Dulip Singh, oh, I see. You mean to say that a man who plays football and hockey and it as strong as a horse cannot have any brains? Mr. Swap is saying for Mr. Dulip Singh did not say that, but you may remember what Kipling said about muddied oafs and flannel fools. Dulip Singh, well, I must say you are very complimentary. Kipling must have been, and as if he said that anyway, would rather be a muddied oaf than a white-faced spectacle bookworm as blind as an owl. Dear teachers are coming. Hello, what are you doing, fellows? Quarreling about? They explain, teachers, I see. Well, you are both right and both wrong. So, our a little more physical exercise will do you good and will not interfere with your mental culture, and doing a little more study will not in any way spoil your physical strength. So go and have a game of tennis swap, and afterwards you Dilip settle down to a few hours study. A dialogue between a countryman and a townsman, bringing out these comparative advantages of town and country life. Smith, good morning. Mr. Jones, it is a long time since I saw you in town. Are you staying long? Jones, good morning. No, Mr. Smith, only came up on business for a few hours and hope to get home again the evening. Smith, running away so soon. Why not stay a few days and enjoy yourself? Jones, not me. I don't find much enjoyment in the smoky air of a town and all its noise and racket. Give me the clean air, the sunshine, and the quiet of the country. Smith, well, I grant you have the advantage of proper air in the country, but as for noise, you soon get used to it. In fact, I could not stand your quiet. It would drive me crazy. I like to feel plenty of like and movement about me. John's really? Why I could not get a wing of a sleep in a noisy town? And towns are so ugly, nothing to see but ugly smoke, grimmed houses, dairy streets, hiders, advertisements on every hoarding factory, chimneys, belching smoke, and a dull smoky sky. I have the beauty of the green fields and shady woods and flowery meadows of the country. Ismin, oh my friend, but don't forget what Dr. Johnson said. When you have seen on green field, you have been all green fields. Come with me down Freed Street and study. Jones. Well, all I can say is that Dr. Johnson never saw a green field in his life, or he would have known that there is an infinite varieties in nature if you have the eyes to see it. Smith. But what in the world do you do with yourself in your village? It must be a very dull and slow life with no theaters, no concerts, no cinemas, no public lectures, no exciting political meeting. You must lead the stupid vegetable life like a cabbage. Johnson, not so stupid and dull as you imagine. I have my garden, which is a great source of pleasure, and there is fishing and a little hunting, and then I love tramping over the hills and seeing the beautiful scenery, and in the evening I have my books. Smith, well, every man to his tastes, sir, but to me yours would be a dull life. Jones, dull or not, it is much healthier. In the pure country, we don't get the epidemics and dirt produced diseases you have in the towns, and our quiet habits give us longer lives. Smith, yes, you may live longer in the country, but you don't get out of life as we do in town. A short life and a merry one, I saw. Number four, a dialogue between two boys discussing their hobbies. Yeah, so I'm going to tell you, Mr. Goodman, a dialogue between two boys discussing their hobbies, what kinds of hobbies they have, and what kinds of doing in every day. So now I'm going to tell you. So Mr. George, I'm in luck, Will. My uncle has just sent me a letter from Japan where he is on business with some Japanese stamps. He knows I collect them and often sends me foreign stamps from the places he visits. Will they look rather nice? Are you going to paste them in your album? George, yes, here it is. I have got quite a nice collection now. Will, what a lot. French, Italian, Dutch, German, American, Turkish. You seem to have some from almost every country. George, oh, there are a lot I have not got yet. And some rare ones are very expensive and cost pounds of money. Will, but what is the use of collecting stamps? George, oh, well, it's hobbies and it teaches you some geography, and sometimes it brings money. Will, how is that? George, why? A really good collection sometimes sells for hundreds of pounds. Why don't you go in for stamp collecting? Will, I like something more active. My hobby is collecting ferns and wildflowers, and to get these, you have to go long country walks and explore the woods and climb the hills. It is quite an adventure when you find a rare plant or a fern in some wild place. थैंक यू वेरी मच सभी लोगों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सपोर्ट देने के लिए. हर हर महादेव जो लोग भी लाइव पर जुड़े हैं. George, but what do you do with them when you get them? Will, I press them and then mount them neatly on sheets of paper and name them. I have got quite a nice collection. George, how do you press them? Will, I lay the phone or plant between sheets of blotting paper and put them in a press or under a board with heavy weights. You have to change the blotting paper every day, and in about 2 weeks the plant is dried and pressed and will last like that for years. George, and what is the good of your hobbies? Well, it teaches me a lot of botany and takes me into beautiful country and does me good physically because it means exercise in the open air. Number five, dialogue between a master and a pupil on public speaking. Master, well, Ram Naren, I hear you taking part in the speaking competition. Pupil, yes sir, and I came to ask you to give me some hints. on the art of public speaking. Master, with pleasure, Ram Naren. Have you prepared your speech? Pupil, yes, sir. And now I am learning it by heart, Master. Oh, but that is a great mistake. Always carefully prepare what you want to say, but never try to learn it off by heart. Pupil, but why, sir, Master? Because when you are speaking, you should watch your audience to see whether they are following what you say. You can see by their faces whether they understand and are interested, or if they are not, you can then win their attention by adding or emphasizing or changing something. But if your speech is learned by heart, you can't alter it, pupil. But it seems so much easier to learn it, master. It is not so in the end. Memorizing is a great strain. Also, if you forget one sentences, you may break down altogether. Pupil, well, I might manage if I could have my notes with me when I speak. Master, at first you may that a short note of outline or main points of your speech. Last you should forget, but when you get used to speaking in public, it is best to do without notes altogether. Pupil, but if I don't use notes and must not learn my speeches off by heart, how can I remember what to say? Master, you must prepare carefully and think out what you want to say and learn the main points or outline of your speech. Then when you get up to speak, you will find that the words will come. Pupil, but I feel so nervous when I have to speak. Masters, that is natural, especially at first, but as you get used to speaking in public, you will overcome that. Even practice, the speakers often feel very nervous before they begin to speak, but when they get on their feet, they forgot all about it. Pupil. When thank you, sir, for your hints. I will try to follow them. Number six, a dialogue on the choice of a profession, law or medicine. Jai Dayal, thanks goodness, our examination are over at last. Sendas, what a relief. I hope shall pass, for I have just got a letter from my father promising to send me to the medical college if I get through class 12th. Jai Dayal, oh, are you going to be a doctor? Sendas, yes. And I am very glad my father is a doctor, and I have always wanted to be one too. One too, it seems a very interesting profession. What are you going to do, Jaidyal? My ambition is to be a lawyer, and when I have got my BA, I am to go to the law college to study for my LLB. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद तनुजा जी, आपका लाइव चैनल पर। थैंक यू वेरी मच लाइव पर बने रहने के लिए, जुड़ी रहने के लिए। हर हर महादेव। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका। और बताइए तनुजा जी, आप कैसे हैं? आपका चाय पानी हो गया? मैं कल शाम 7 बजे आया था, आपका मोबाइल चार्ज में था, तो मैंने कमेंट किया था आपको। अब मैं समझ गया था आपने हाथ से ऐसा किया था। आज भी आऊँगा 7 बजे मैं आपकी जो लाइव में। 7 बजे ऑन रखना आप, और लाइव 7 बजे लाइव वो ऑन करना आप तनुजा जी, ठीक है? 7 बजे पहुँच जाऊँगा वहाँ आपके लाइव में। मैंने भी ये सुबह किया था, फिर अभी ये मोबाइल चार्ज में लगाया था मैंने तनुजा जी, फिर अभी मैंने बोला चलो एक आध घंटे कर लेता हूँ घर की थोड़ा लाइव। मैं नहाने गया था तब तो मैंने आपका मैसेज देख दिया था। और दिन में आज थोड़ी सी झपकी भी आई थी, मेरे को नींद आई थी, मैं थोड़ा हल्का सो गया था, फिर उठा मैं, फिर नहा धो के आया फिर अभी मैं। और बताइए तनुजा जी, आपका चाय पानी हो गया? बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका सपोर्ट देने के लिए। हर हर महादेव। ठीक है, 7 बजे लाइव चालू करूँगी, आ जाइएगा पक्का। डेफिनेटली 100%। आँख बंद करके बिलीव कीजिए, मैं 7 बजे पहुँचूँगा ही पहुँचूँगा। ये बात मेरी पक्की है। कैसे हैं आप? खाना पीना हो गया आपका? अरे मैं खाना पीना खा के अभी मैंने चाय भी पी दी तनुजा जी। आपकी चाय हो गई? खाना तो नहीं, आगे खा लिया था। ओह माय गॉड, थैंक यू वेरी मच तनुजा जी ऐप पर जुड़े रहने के लिए। अरे महादेव, थैंक यू वेरी मच। इवनिंग थी, शाम की चाय तो अभी मैंने पी के ऐसे जस्ट ये गिलास रखा है साइड में। थोड़ा ही कन्वर्सेशन कर रहा था अपना जो ग्रामर है, थोड़ा नॉर्मली मज़ा आता है, माइंड भी फ्रेश रहता है ऐसे करके। थैंक यू वेरी मच तनुजा जी ऐप पर जुड़े रहने के लिए। मैं 7 बजे आऊँगा, आप फिक्र मत कीजिए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका तनुजा जी लाइव पर बड़े रहने के लिए। थैंक यू वेरी मच। हर हर महादेव। थैंक यू वेरी मच तनुजा जी सपोर्ट देने के लिए, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका। बहुत बहुत दिल से धन्यवाद आपका सपोर्ट देने के लिए। हर हर महादेव। लीन जय दयाल, वेल इट इज़ a very respectable professions. One can be a gentleman and hold a good position anyway. Sen Das, so can a doctor. The medical profession is just as respectable as the legal. Jay Dayal, oh yes, of course, but I think a lawyer can make more money than a doctor. Sendas, I am not so sure of that. A few lawyers who get to be leaders of the bar, of course, do make fortunes. But what about the crowd of pleaders and even bariters who can scarcely make a living? The law is terribly overcrowded. Jayadiyal. Oh, well, there is always plenty of room at the top, you know. Sindas, what I like about the medical profession, apart from its scientific interests, is that the work is so humanitarian. A doctor is always doing good to his fellows, relieving suffering, curing diseases, restoring health, and so making folk happy. This makes a doctor's life a sort of social service. थैंक यू वेरी मच तनुजा जी सपोर्ट देने के लिए। हर हर महादेव। थैंक यू वेरी मच नीतू जी, सभी लोगों का धन्यवाद। जय दयाल, वेल अ लॉयर इज डूइंग गुड वर्क टू। ही इज हेल्पिंग टू डिटेक्ट एंड प्रिवेंट क्राइम, डिफेंडिंग द innocent from false charges and helping people in distress. Sendas, yes, but a lawyer life is full of temptations. He is tempted to defend criminals for a big fees and to get them off from just punishment. I don't see how a lawyer can help being a liar too. Jaidyal, now you are joking. It is as possible for a lawyer to be an honest man as it is for a doctor to be a rug. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका सभी लोगों का। थैंक यू वेरी मच सपोर्ट देने के लिए। तनुजा जी, हर हर महादेव। दिल से धन्यवाद सभी लोगों का, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। तनुजा जी, नीतू जी, जितने भी लोग हैं। एक्सरसाइज 155, compose imaginary conversation on the following subjects. Number one, between a father and his son of thrift. Hence, the son has been wasting his allowance extravagantly and got into debate. His father rebukes him and warns him of the danger of extravagance, telling him how to spend economically and save for his old age. Number second, between a temperance advocate and a young man on the evils of interference. Hence, the young man sees no harm in drinking, argues it is a jolly social custom, makes him lively and happy. Dawn's care revives him when tired is a mainly habit, etc. The temperance man warns him against danger of becoming a drunkard. The terrible power of the drink craving argues alcohol drink is a slow poison and damages health. Appeals to him to set an example to other by sharing the plates, etc. etc. Number third, between a soldier and a shopkeeper on the merits of their respective occupations. Hence, the soldier argues that is a noble profession superior to civilian in rank, calls for courage and manly qualities. He is the defender of his country, whereas a tradesman's job is mean and despised. No job for a man, etc. The shopkeeper argues that the soldier produces nothing, he simply destroys. It is a butcher's job, food for powder, etc. Whereas the tradesman is a यूजफुल. थैंक यू वेरी मच नीतू जी सपोर्ट देने के लिए बहुत बहुत दिल से धन्यवाद आपका. प्रोड्यूस नथिंग, ही सिंपली डिस्ट्रॉय. इट इज़ अ butcher job, food for a powder, etc. Whereas the tradesman is a useful member of society who is doing a public service, can become a rich, while a soldier must always buy poor, etc. The dignity of a labor. राधे राधे राधे. थैंक यू वेरी मच, थैंक यू वेरी मच नीतू सपोर्ट देने के लिए. हर हर महादेव. दिल से धन्यवाद आपका सभी लोगों का. नंबर फोर, between huntsman and gardener of their respective pursuits. Hence, the huntsman defends his sport as manly, exciting, and needing courage. Tries to show the benefits others by killing pests like tigers and bears. Says gardening is a tame and effeminate hobby. The gardener argues hunting is a cruel sport. It means killing and torturing many of God's innocent creatures, purely destructive, whereas he is productive, making two blades of grass grow where only one grew before, making the world more beautiful. Hence, the refining effect of gardening. थैंक यू वेरी मच नीतू जी सपोर्ट देने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका. हर हर महादेव. राधे राधे राधे. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका सपोर्ट देने के लिए सभी लोगों का. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद नीतू जी. Appreciations of the poem substance. The first thing we must do is to read the poem through carefully. Then we must ask ourselves what is it all about, what is the subject, and what does the poet say about the subject. थैंक यू वेरी मच तनुजा जी. थैंक यू वेरी मच नीतू जी सपोर्ट देने के लिए. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका. दिल से धन्यवाद. The poet tells us that as he was taking a solitary walk beside a take one bright and breezy spring morning, he suddenly came upon a sight that filled him with delighted wonder at its beauty and with gaiety of heart. There stretched before his wondering gaze thousands and thousands of yellow daffodils under the trees beside the sprinkled waters of the lake, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. The sight filled him with pleasure, but he did not know at the time all that the experience had added to his life. For many times afterwards, memory brought back that beautiful scene as a mental picture, which gave him over and over again the same sense of a gladness. जय श्री कृष्णा. विष्णु जी, बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका लाइव चैनल पर। प्लीज़ लाइव को लाइक कर दीजिए। हर हर महादेव, बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका लाइव चैनल पर। थैंक यू वेरी मच तनुजा जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच नीतू जी, सपोर्ट देने के लिए। हर हर महादेव, बहुत बहुत स्वागत, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। नंबर सेकेंड, लैंग्वेज। द पोएम is in very simple language and there are really no difficult words. Daffodil is a bulbous plant of the lily family bearing a yellow trumpet shaped flower that grows wild in English woods and flowers in spring. Number third, imagery. The first three verses are a description of a host of daffodils under the trees by the side of a lake, lit up by the sun and dancing in the wind. थैंक यू वेरी मच तनुजा जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच नीतू जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सपोर्ट देने के लिए, दिल से धन्यवाद। हर हर महादेव। बी, देयर आर टू smiles. The comparison between the solitary poet and a lonely cloud in the first stanza, and the comparison between the endless line of daffodils and innumerable stars in the Milky Way, given in the second stanza. See, there is also an example of personification in the second stanza and again in the third stanza. The daffodils are described as dancing in glee and tossing their heads like human beings and are said to be such a jocund company. The statement 10,000 saw I at a glance is a figure of speech known as hyperbole. It is a poetic exaggeration not intended to be taken literally. For sound effects, the quickened movement of line 6 of the first stanza in comparison with the stately movement of the preceding lines well echoes and reinforces the sense. B. There is an example of alliteration in line 6 of the fourth stanza and dances with the daffodils. Note also the repetition in line 5 of the third stanza. I gazed and gazed. It emphasizes the length of time the poet stood looking in delighted wonder at the beautiful scene. 5. Number 5. Striking lines. The most striking lines are lines 3rd and 4th of the last stanza. The inward eyes is the faculty of visualizing or calling up mental pictures from memory or the imaginations. Such a mind pictures give us joy when we are alone and at leisure. So in the morning time, whenever I was doing for I was involved for in my life. So at that time, I am saying for all whole my YouTube family, whoever had in my life, although we are alone. So at that time, although we are reading for a poem and lectures, lots of things, although we are doing, then we can relieve our own conscious mind, and aside from that, even वी कैन अचीव फॉर अ न्यू थॉट। तो मॉर्निंग में मैं आपको वही चीज़ बता रहा था, तो यहाँ पे भी अभी यही चीज़ बताई जा रही है इस ग्रामर बुक में। तो अभी मैं ये बता रहा था आपको एप्रिसिएशन ऑफ द पोएम, तो ये है उसका। वी हैव गिवन हियर समवट डिटेल्ड एप्रिसिएशन ऑफ द पोएम द daffodils, the points amplified above in connection with Wordsworth's beautiful poem will make you understand what you should look for in good poetry in order that you may enjoy in a better way. But at the high school stage, a continuous description of all the essential qualities of a good poem is not required. A student's appreciation of a particular piece of poetry may be judged by asking specific questions like the following: what is the central idea of the poem? What is the poet's attitude to life or to nature or to whatever is the subject of the poem? What is the significance of certain given lines or expressions in the poem? What pictures is caged in the lines specified? How are certain sound effects produced by the poem? What figures for speech are to be bound in the poem and how can they be explained? What title or alternative title can be given to the poem? In your choice and in your hands, how we can make a poem and what kinds of we are saying for a thousand and thousand people see in front and for on the stage, so I am saying those things, so and so type thing. तो जो ये है इन्होंने भी वही चीज़ लिखी है इसमें. थैंक यू वेरी मच नीतू जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच तनुजा जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच विष्णु जी, जितने भी लोग मुझसे जुड़े बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सपोर्ट देने के लिए. सभी लोगों का दिल से धन्यवाद. हर हर महादेव. Characteristics of a good paraphrase translation. Paraphrasing is really a species of translation, for though a paraphrase is not a translation from one tongue into another as from Urdu or Tamil into English. It is a translation of one man's words into the words of another in the same language, and as a translation must be accurate and explanatory to be of any value. So paraphrase must faithfully reproduce and interpret the thought of the original passive. A passive written in a very terse or compressed style has to be expanded in translation. For instance, this saying from Bacon's easy prosperity doth best discover vice, but adversity doth best discover virtue. Paraphrase: when a man is prosperous, there is more chance of his bad qualities coming to light, but when he is unfortunate or in trouble, his good qualities are more likely to show themselves. थैंक यू वेरी मच तनुजा जी, सपोर्ट देने के लिए दिल से धन्यवाद आपका, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका. A verbose passive needs compressions in translation. Here is a humorous illustrations given by Ruskin in a lecture at Oxford. He said that whereas in his youth he might have informed a man that his house was on fire in the following way: Sir, the abode in which you probably passed the delightful days of your youth in is in danger of inflammation. Then, being older and wiser, he would say simply, Sir, your house is on fire. In the following passage by Sidney Smith, the long words and harmoniously ornate cital need translating into simple language. Whoever had too good fortune to see Dr. Pererwig must have observed that while it trespasses a little on the orthodox magnitude or parucus in the anterior parts, it scorns even applicable limits behind and swells out into a boundless convexity of a phrase. Paraphrase, all who have seen Dr. Pear wig must have been struck with its enormous size. Even in front, it is larger than the usual style of a wig, but behind it is fuller even than the wigs worn by bishops and swells out into a gigantic round of curls. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका नीतू जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद तनुजा जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद दिल से। दिल से धन्यवाद सभी लोगों का, जितने भी लोग लाइव पर जुड़े हैं। थैंक यू वेरी मच सपोर्ट देने के लिए। अरे महादेव, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सभी लोगों का। Another kind of traveler in all he sees fancy entertainment for his foolish spirit of ridicule. The more hollowed any object is from historical and religious associations or artistic beauty, the more he delights to degrade it by applying to it familiar terms of vulgar slang that he mistakes for a wit. Such a one brings disgrace upon his nation by the rude insolence with which he laughs at foreigners and their ways and everything else that attracts the notice of his feeble understanding. At the end of his wandering, he returns to his home a living example, showing how much the fool that had been taught to roam excels the fools that had been kept at home. Far different is the effect of travels upon who leave their native country with minds prepared by culture to feel intelligent admiration for all the beauties of nature and art to be bound in foreign land. Their object is not to see much but to see well. When they visit Paris or Athens or Rome, instead of hurrying from temple to museum and from museum to picture gallery, they allow the spirit of the place to sink into their minds and only visit such monuments as the time they have at their disposal allows them to contemplate without irreverent haste. They find it more profitable and delightful to settle down for a week or so at centers of a great historical and artistic interest or of remarkable natural beauty than to pay short visits to all the principal cities that they pass by. In this way, the gain by the travels, refreshment, and rest for their minds' satisfactions to their intellectual curiosity or artistic taste and increase the knowledge of the world and its inhabitants. Such a people who have traveled with third eyes open return to their native land with a greater knowledge of its glories and defects than they stay at home can ever have. ये जिन्होंने भी इसमें लिख रखा है, एक्चुअली द थिंग इज, जो ये बता रहे हैं कि जो फॉरेनर पीपल आते हैं या फिर हम ही लोग इंडियन लोग अगर चले गए कहीं पे भी विजिट करने के लिए फॉर अ ट्रेवलिंग एंड फॉर अ विजिटिंग फॉर ओन फैमिली मेम्बर्स, तो क्या है कि वो अपनी तीसरी आँख खोलते हैं। बोले कि एक्चुअली द थिंग इज, अगर हम कोई भी चीज़ अच्छी तरीके से कर रहे हैं किसी भी चीज़ के बारे में, और अगर वो पॉइंट हमने देखा है वहाँ पे, वो पॉइंट देख के हमने वो चीज़ नोट कर दी अपने नोट पैड में, आपने कभी भी देखा होगा कोई एक फॉरेनर आदमी को, अगर वो कहीं पे भी जाता है विजिट करने के लिए, घूमने के लिए, भले ही वो गार्डन हो, चर्च हो, या फिर फाइव स्टार होटल, या फिर नेचर, या फिर लेक साइड व्यू जहाँ पे तालाब, या फिर ओशियन या समुद्र के किनारे, तो वही चीज़ इसमें बताई जा रही है कि भाई such a people who have traveled with their eyes open return to their native land with a greater knowledge of its glories and defects than the stay at home can ever है। यही चीज़ है, वही चीज़ हमारे लिए भी है। अगर हम थोड़ी थोड़ी वो चीज़ भी करें तो। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद तनुजा जी सपोर्ट देने के लिए। हर हर महादेव। It is in the temperature countries of northern Europe that the beneficial effects of cold are most manifest. A cold climate seems to stimulate energy by acting as an obstacle in the face of an insuperable obstacle. Our energies are numbed by despair. The total absence of obstacles, on the other hand, leaves no room for the exercise and training of energy, but a struggle against the difficulties that we have a fair hope of overcoming calls into active operation all our powers in like manner, while intense cold numbs human energies and a hot climate affords little motive for exertion. Moderate cold seems to have a bracing effect on the human race. In a moderately cold climate, man is engaged is an arduous but no hopeless struggle with the inclemency of the weather. He has to build strong houses and procure thick clothes to keep himself warm, to supply fuel for his fires. He must hew down trees and dig coal out of the bowels of the earth in the open air. Unless he moves quickly, he will suffer pain from the biting wind. Finally, in order to replenish the expenditure of bodily tissue caused by his necessary exer- exertions, he has to procure for himself plenty of nourishing food. थैंक यू वेरी मच तनुजा जी सपोर्ट देने के लिए। दिल से धन्यवाद आपका, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। Day by day, her influence and dignity increased. First of all, she received the title of Nur Mahal, Light of the Harem, but was afterwards distinguished by that of Nur Jahan Begum, Light of the World. Or her relations and connections were raised to honor and wealth. No grant of lands was conferred upon anyone except under her seal. In addition to giving her the titles that other kings bestowed, the imperial granted Nur Jahan the rights of suavity and government. Sometimes she would sit in the balcony of her palace while the nobles would present themselves and listen to her dictates. Coin was struck in her name with this superscription by order of the king Jahangir. Gold has 100 splendors added to it by receiving the impression of the name of Noor Jahan, the Queen Begum, on all parchments, also receiving the imperial signature. The name of Noor Jahan, the Queen Begum, was jointly attached. At last, her authority reached such a pass that the king was such only in name. Repeatedly, he gave out that he had bestowed the sovereignty of Noor Jahan Begum and would say, I require nothing beyond a sir of wine and half a sir of meat. It is impossible to describe the beauty and wisdom of the queen in any matter that was presented to her. If a difficulty arose, she immediately solved it. Whoever threw himself upon the protection was preserved from tyranny and oppression, and if ever she learned that any orphan girl was destitute and friendless, she would bring about her marriage and give her a wedding portion. It is probable that during her reign, not less than 500 orphan girls were thus married and portioned. थैंक यू वेरी मच तनुजा जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका, नीतू जी, सभी लोगों का सपोर्ट देने के लिए। और महादेव। Exercise 86. Convert the following complex sentences to compound sentences. Rama went to school as soon as he had finished his meal. If I ask a civil question, sorry, I expect a civil reply. They have never been poor since they opened that shop. I could answer if I choose. We might admire a bad man, though we cannot admire a weak one. I advise you to try, although you may not succeed. I spoke plainly so that you might understand. He found sleep as he had an object in doing so. He gave himself up because the flight was useless. As we are here, we will stay here. I don't think he will come. I don't there is a rupees in your hand. Come when you like. I shall come when I am in better health. I would have shot the snake if I had seen it. So it has a convert the following complex sentences to compound sentences, which I have told for you. थैंक यू वेरी मच तनुजा जी, सपोर्ट देने के लिए। थैंक यू वेरी मच नीतू जी, हर हर महादेव, सभी लोगों का दिल से धन्यवाद। Adverb clauses of a place. Adverb clauses of a place are introduced by the subordinating conjunctions where or whereas. Like I have put it where I can find it again. They can stay where they are. Where you live, I will live. He led the caravan wherever he wanted to go. You can put it wherever you like. Let him be arrested wherever he may be found. In older English, whence and whither were also used. Go quickly, whence you came. The wind bloweth whither it listeth. Write three sentences containing adverb clauses of a place, adverb clauses of a purpose. Adverb clause of purpose are introduced by the subordinating conjunctions so that in order that and lest are used in a formal style. Like as I will give you a map so that you can find the way. We eat so that we may live. The UNO was formed in order that countries might discuss world problems better. He was extra polite to his superiors. Last something adverse should be written into the records. Sleep not lest your Lord come in the night. The conjunctions that occurred in older English, like as he drew the sword that he might defend himself. Come hither that I may bless thee. Write these sentences containing adverb clauses of a purpose, adverb clauses of a cause, of a reason. Adverb clauses of a cause, of a reason are introduced by the subordinating conjunctions because, as, since, that, as. Because I like you, I shall help you. I did it because I wanted to. I did not buy it because I did not like the look of it. He thinks because he is rich, he can buy justice. Since you are so clever, you will be able to explain this. Since your father is not at home, I will ask you to take the message. Since you swear to serve my faithfully, I will employ you. I am glad that you like it. He was very pleased that you have passed. As he was not there, I spoke to his brother. So it has a adverb clauses of cause or reason. थैंक यू वेरी मच तनुजा जी, नीतू जी, सभी लोगों का दिल से धन्यवाद. Write five sentences containing adverb clauses of a cause of reason. So I am going to tell you adverb clauses of condition. Adverb clauses of condition are introduced by the subordinating conjunctions if, whether, unless, as. Like if I like it, I shall buy it. Come if you wish to. If it rains, we shall stay at home. If you have tears, prepare to shed them now. You must go whether you hear from him or not. Whether the Raja gives him blows or money, he will speak the truth. Unless you work harder, you will fail. I shall not pay it unless thee sends me the will again. I will forgive you on condition that you don't repeat the offense. So it is adverb clause of condition. Note 1. Sometimes the subordinating conjunction is omitted in adverb clauses of a condition as had I not seen this with my own eyes, I would not have believed it. Had I the wing of a bird, I would fly away. He would be happier, very honester. Were an angel to tell me such a thing of you, I will not believe it. What would you answer? Did I ask you such a question? थैंक यू वेरी मच सभी लोगों का, थैंक यू वेरी मच, दिल से धन्यवाद जो लोग भी लाइव पर जुड़े हैं. नीतू जी, तनुजा जी, विष्णु जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका, आप सभी लोगों का. हर हर महादेव. Read the passive carefully and answer briefly the question appended below. Number 1. People talk of memorials to him in statues of bronze of marble or a pillar, and thus they mock him and belly his message. What tribute shall we pay to him that he would have appreciated? He has shown us the way to live and the way to die, and if we have not understood that lesson, it would be better that we raised no memorial to him, for the only fit memorial is to follow reverently in the path he showed us and to do our duty in life and in death. The next ingredient is a very remarkable one, good temper. Love is not easily provoked. Nothing could be more striking than to find this here. We are inclined to look upon bad temper as a very harmless weakness. We speak of it as a mere infirmity of a nature, a family failing, a matter of temperament, not a thing to take into a very serious account. Is estimating a man's characters, and yet here right is the heart of this analysis of love. It finds a place, and the Bible again and again returns to condemn it as one of the most destructive elements of the human nature. The faculties of ill temper is that it is the vice of the virtuous. Thank you very much सभी लोगों का दिल से धन्यवाद. हर हर महादेव. Yes, there were giants before the James Hype, the great Indian cricketer Sukumar Sri Ranjit Singh ji, better known to the world of cricket as Ranji. At yet, I think it is undeniable that as a batsman, the Indian will live as the supreme exponent of the Englishman's game. The column does not rest simply on his achievements, although judged by them, the claim could be sustained. His season's average of 87 with a total of over 3000 runs is easily the higher watermark of English cricketer. Thrice he has total over 3000 runs and no one else has equaled that record, and is not his the astonishing achievement of scoring two double centuries in a single match on a single day, not against the feeble attack but against Yorkshire, always the most resolute and resourceful of bowling teams. But we don't judge a cricketer so much by the runs he gets as by the way he gets them. In literature and in finance, says Washington, loving much paper and much poverty may coexist, and in cricketer too many runs and much dullness may be associated. If cricketer is managed with creeping paralysis, it is because it is losing the spirits of joyous adventure and becoming a mere instrument for compiling tables of average. There are dull mechanic fellows who turn out runs with as little emotions as a machine turns out pins. There is no color, no enthusiasm, no character in their play. Cricket is not an adventure to them, it is a business. It was so with Shrewsbury. His technical perfection was astonishing, but the soul of the game was wanting to him. There was no sunshine in his play, no swift surprise or splendid unselfishness, and without these things, without gaiety, daring, and the spirit of Scriffis, cricket is a dead thing. Now the James Hive has the root of the matter in him. His play is as sunny as his face. He is not a miser hoarding up runs by a millionaire splending them with a splendid yet judicious prodigality. It is as though his pockets are bursting with runs that he wants to shower with his blessing upon the expectant multitude. It is not difficult to believe that in his little kingdom, Navanagar, where he has power on life and death in his lands, in his hands, he is extremely popular, for it is obvious that his pleasure is in giving pleasure. By written A.G. Mr. A.G. Gardiner. थैंक यू वेरी मच सभी लोगों का दिल से धन्यवाद सपोर्ट देने के लिए। हर हर महादेव। थैंक यू वेरी मच तनुजा जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच नीतू जी, सभी लोगों का दिल से धन्यवाद। हर हर महादेव। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सभी लोगों का, थैंक यू वेरी मच। तनुजा जी, नीतू जी, सभी लोगों का दिल से धन्यवाद। हर हर महादेव।